Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
It's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings.
Ah, yes. The smell of
wit.
Of fruit flies in the morning.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Ah, if the fruit flies. I don't know.
Time flies like an arrow.
Fruit flies like
flies
wine.
like a banana.
Some metaphor about the early beer drinker gets the fruit flies or some terrible metaphor like
the last beer drinker.
The last beer drinker gets the fruit fly. There you go.
And the backwash. Everything else. Oh, my God, John. It's hot.
Yes, it is.
It is. I tell you.
How hot is it?
We were getting a load of lumber delivered at the brewery, and standing out there, and I can feel like little beads of sweat running down my back, running down my butt crack, tickling my taint, running down my leg. Just like, damn, this is like...
Careful, you're going to get peak Bevo's interest over there.
This is like, I got crack sweat. Bevo, you ever had crack sweat?
I don't think so.
Go.
Well, I mean, probably.
Keep your sweatshirt on. Go run around the block outside and see if you get crack sweat.
Well, I've had cleavage sweat.
Oh, there you go. Maybe it's the female version of male crack sweat.
Are you snapping this right now?
I totally am.
You're such a douche.
Bevo's saying she's getting cleavage sweat. Oh, yeah.
I hope I got that.
That's sexy. Very sexy. Wouldn't you say, John?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, just miserably hot and sweaty. Luckily, the studio is finely air-conditioned.
We have smoke and ash raining from the sky, but other than that...
Apocalypse happening?
Yeah, small one. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, it's killing all the animals, so don't have to worry about that.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to barbecue. It's done for you.
That's right.
Haven't you had this fire problem like every year?
Yeah, that's true.
And a couple of years ago, it was just like you're watching it come up on your side of the valley.
Yeah. Coming over the mountain, rolling down the hills. Lava, bears, deer, bunnies. Mm-hmm. Flaming bunnies, but, yeah.
Right. Aww. Roast bunny, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
It's a delicacy down there.
Dinner on a stick. That's nice.
You just put some punji sticks out there, and they're leaping away from the fire, and they get pierced, and then the fire catches
themselves.
Up. Right.
Well, we've got an emergency kit by the front door, some sticks and a bag of marshmallows and graham crackers and stuff. Right. So we're set.
There you go. When the fire comes, you're ready.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it makes perfect sense. I'll tell you, who's helping you be ready for your brew day? Our good
John
friend,
Blickman.
John Blickman. That's right. At BlickmanEngineering.com. Blickman Engineering, they are preparing you for whatever is coming your way in the brewosphere with quality equipment, great, brilliant engineering, and well-made stuff that just performs like a champ. It's
that's right.
Very, very high quality. I've had the pleasure of using a fair amount of the Blickman gear, and I can say with no hesitation that is some quality stuff that you'd be happy to use and make some great beer. Frustration-free brewing with Blickman gear,
That's right.
I would say.
Yep. That's what they're all about.
There you go. And, I think John takes a certain pride in that fact. And now,
definitely.
with the Anvil brew gear, a more affordable version of gear from Blickman, where if you don't need the latest cutting edge technology, you just want solid, dependable, quality brew gear to produce solid, quality, dependable wort.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Anvil's got that in the bag right there. So check them out, anvilbrewing.com and blickmanengineering.com. Good stuff that is going to make your brew day safe and less frustrating than a fire raging through your valley.
Like Bevo. Yep.
Evo, do you have a fire raging through your valley? She says no.
River. That's what it was.
You have a river raging through your valley?
Rivulet? Cleavage sweat?
Show us your valley.
Jeez.
She is forming a valley with two fingers. Okay. Well, I think we pushed that about as far as we should.
Yeah.
All right.
Bevo, you need your own camera in there. Do you have one in there?
I can't even get the cameras out there to work. What makes you think I can get one in here to work?
Well, one day when
I think people would
all the things
actually
are right,
prefer to watch you than watch me and Porno Steve.
You know what? We had a Bevo camera for one show.
Did it get too weird? Or?
It got real weird.
Right.
Real fast.
They're wanting you to point at all sorts of places.
There were requests for me to take off clothing. It was a whole thing.
Chats were like, "Can you touch your elbows behind your back?" And
what is that weird thing growing on your head? Yeah, right. Yeah. There you go. All right. What we're doing today is live Q&A. You can send in questions via email through Brew Strong at thebrewingnetwork.com. You can actually call in 888-401-BEER, and the lovely Bevo will process your call. I'm not sure this equipment actually works, but we could give that a try. Or you could Skype in, or you could actually join in the chat, which Bevo is monitoring, and she would take your questions, make sure they aren't totally stupid, and then give them to us here on the air, and we would answer them for you thusly. So there you go. Multiple ways of getting your questions in, and we actually quite enjoy this, John and I.
We do.
People think we don't, but it's the best shows we do. We just love it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
And conferences, people come up to us and things, and it's like, we are happy to do them, and we are happy to talk to you guys at conferences, too.
It's easier than coming up with a topic, for one. And two, it's just a lot more interesting because it makes us think. It's always challenging. So what's our first challenge of the day? Pornographic Steven.
It's about temperature control system. So this guy lives in Brazil.
Uh-huh.
And everything there costs more than he can afford. And he really likes the solution he saw in some products that use a coil inside the fermenter, circulating hot and cold water to control the temperature. So he decided to make the system on his own for his 10-gallon plastic fermenter. His question is, can that coil in the center of the fermenter somehow affect the fermentation in a bad way? Is there anything I should consider before I build the system? Coil location, coil length, water flow.
Well,
you don't want to use copper.
Yeah.
Because copper will catalyze staling operations or reactions post-ferment. So that's you use stainless steel is best. Aluminum would probably also be a catalyst, so probably should avoid that.
The aluminum will just rot right at the
Well, it's pretty beer is pretty benign to aluminum. It's the cleaning chemicals that eventually start taking a toll on aluminum.
The interface with the air.
Yeah.
And the liquid.
Yeah. So even vinyl tubing would work.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. I think I think the biggest risk is if you use something other than water. If you're using, like, a lot of times people use glycol, and they'll be recirculating, like, car antifreeze with through this coil, and then it leaks, and then it gets in there, and that could potentially be quite toxic.
Yeah.
Not to say just, even if it was food grade, kind of ruins your beer. But I would question that this is somehow cheaper than just having a fridge or, some sort of AC unit or something with a box.
Yeah.
Because in order to do this, you can't just run a pump and circulate water through this thing, through a coil, with no control because, well, all right, first off, you need to chill down the water. How are you chilling the water? Are you refrigerating blocks of ice and throwing them in? And then are you not controlling the flow of water through? That seems kind of weird. So, I mean, you need a controller no matter what. And then if you're buying a pump and making this coil and then somehow chilling the water, it doesn't make sense to me that is potentially cheaper than a used refrigerator or a used AC unit in a box.
I think his thing is he's building it, but he wants to know about coil length and location.
You talked about being cheap.
Yeah,
I am calling BS on this cheap.
It's cheaper to buy a AC unit, a window air conditioner, and make a box than try to put an immersion chiller in the fermenter. You're saying,
right? Because you need a pump.
Yeah.
And you still need a controller.
Right.
And you still need a way of chilling the water.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting a fridge eliminates the pump, and there's your method of chilling the water, chills the whole thing. It can handle multiple fermenters, and you don't need the coils anymore. You don't have to worry about the coils. One of the biggest problems of the coils is getting them in and out of your container and keeping them sanitary. It's very difficult to handle this thing and get it completely sanitary. You have to heat sanitize it and get it into your fermenter without introducing more contaminants. And you have to use a fermenter that has a wide open top in order to allow that thing to go in and out, because you're not feeding a coil through the opening of a carboy. And then you also are taking up precious volume from the fermenter for your coil. And your fermenter has to be bigger. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons why it's not the best solution, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. I had real good luck with room air conditioners. Mm-hmm. Building an insulated box of room air conditioner worked real well.
Mm-hmm. A place like Brazil, I think you
providing
go yank that from your neighbor's house and use that. Mm-hmm. Well, and if you're doing the coil method, you need electricity for that, to run a pump and also to chill the water. So either way, you need electricity. And for a box, to build a box with a air conditioner unit, it's panels of styrofoam. You don't even need like wood. I mean, you can use like 2-inch styrofoam with tape and make a box.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That works just fine. So I would say what he's proposing is not the best way. I'd say if he's doing it, avoid using any sort of liquid that's recirculating that would be toxic or ruin the beer if he gets a leak, and even water can do that, because the water is going to be contaminated. and it'll also dilute the beer. So either way, if you get that in there, you're going to ruin your beer. And then, the problem is getting the coil into the fermenter without introducing contaminants. So I would focus on those aspects of it. And you still need to make sure you control the temperature so you're not just circulating at random times or continuously. Yes? Have I burst his bubble enough?
Yes.
I think you've beaten that horse.
All right.
So.
Well, time to beat another horse. Let's take a short break. Let me go beat the horse, and we'll be back right after this.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast, packaged using their Flex Cell process, ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, Flex Cell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We are sort of answering questions.
Yep. Making Taylor look like a wine guy.
Who? You mean Steve?
Steve, yes. Or Steve look like a wine guy.
You're blowing my cover, man.
He's a wine guy.
Wine
Are
guy.
you a wine guy? All right, wine guy. Give us the next question.
All right, this is from Eric Parker. Hey, Jamil, I've listened to all your Brew Strong shows about mash efficiency, and smarging. I have a more beer sculpture and use their heavy-duty 15-gallon mash tun, which has about 2.08 gallons of water underneath the valve bottom. The true dead space, however, is about 1.50 gallons. When you brewed on your B3 sculpture, how did you account for this? In Beersmith, would you add the true 1.50 gallons of dead space in the dead space field and then add the difference of about 0.5 gallon to the mash water calculation addition? I usually go with 1.33 quarts per pound, so this would take the mash water to about 1.48 quarts per pound. Am I thinking about it too much?
Yes, you are. However, all right, a few answers to a few of the questions. One is, I started with the B3 stuff way back in the Regan days when they had a thing called the Maximizer, which is a little piece of copper elbow and tubing that actually dipped way down into the kettle, and you only lost like a half a gallon. It was amazing. It was fantastic. And they did away with it and went to a much higher screen and all that just to simplify that, because the Maximizer would fall out. You know, if you didn't really hammer that thing in, it would fall out. You'd lose it in your spent grain, and, you know, it was a bit of a problem. But I loved it, and I insisted on that forever. They tried to give me one without that, and I'm like, no, I want the Maximizer. So I love the Maximizer. The other thing is, I never really used Beersmith. So, I mean, I fiddled with it a little bit, but I never really used it for all my brewing. Yes, enter it, the 1.5 in the dead space, and you can add the other half to the mash water. However you do it, it's fine. It doesn't really matter how it goes, which gets me to the point of you're way overthinking it, because if you're worried about, getting such precision in the mash. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were going on and on about the mash and the temperature and this and the water and the design of the mash tun and really no thought about fermentation. They were going on and on about all this, and then nothing about temperature control or yeast management, anything like that. And they're missing the fundamental fact that fermentation, with great fermentation, and temperature control of fermentation is part of great fermentation, that's 90% of the battle right there.
Yeah.
And you can take really the most poorly made wort and ferment it just amazingly, and it's going to taste pretty damn good. You can take the most amazing wort and ferment it poorly, and it's going to taste like crap. So you need to focus on fermentation and that aspect of it, and not really worry so much about, the mash. So, 0.33, 1.33, 1.43 doesn't really, it makes zero bit of difference in your outcome. I mean, if you've gotten to that point where that's the difference in your beer, I'd be shocked. I'd really be shocked.
Yeah. Water to green ratio. My first question is, why using such a low ratio? 2 quarts per pound works great. And brew in the bag, people, should demonstrate that 5 quarts per pound works great. So.
Well, sometimes people do this for volume constraints on their mash tun.
Yeah,
so I did like a 1.33 or a 1.5, and it just, because it fit well, and it allowed me to do larger grain bills, even with a smaller mash tun.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I would agree with you. Throw in whatever fits. That's fine. Mm-hmm. It's as long as if you're going to go 3 quarts, or 1.5, that I'd keep track of, so you could repeat it when it works out well. Mm-hmm. But in the grand scheme of things, it will affect it a little bit, but it's not much. It's a small portion. Your pitching rate has a far greater effect on your attenuation than your mash thickness.
Yeah. Well, I guess part of it too is hitting his numbers to get his OG.
Oh yeah.
Boil volumes,
I commend him for looking at this and tracking this, but on the other hand, you just got to be, don't spend too much time on it unless this is like you've run out of things to look at. Then you can start looking at this. But, you should really be looking at fermentation, all that first. So, there you go. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
Okay. Large starter technique from Rod Hall.
Rod
Hall. I make 5-liter starters for my IPAs and double IPAs. Since 5 liters seems like too much starter wort to pitch to a 5-gallon batch, I let the starter ferment completely, cold crash, and decant most of it before pitching. How much yeast vitality am I losing doing this way instead of pitching the entire starter at high Krausen?
Not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're losing some between high Krausen and once you let it all settle out. However, one of the things that like White Labs does is they actually, part of their process of chilling it down and packaging it, they have a where they actually can get the yeast to retain more glycogen by crashing it out and making it more ready to go afterwards. So, I mean, it's possible. I'd say that the difference, however, between that and a choice between that and dumping 5 liters of spent wort into your beer, I'd choose, going with the way he's doing it. I wouldn't transfer 5 liters of spent wort into my beer either. What I like to do was, grow the yeast up a couple of days before the brew, just so I was sure that everything worked out fine and that I was ready to go. And then, harvest the yeast, make sure I got the proper amount. And then the day of brew, I would add some wort to the yeast, just a small amount, just, a pint with the yeast, just to get it active and get it, frothing again. And then that I would pitch the whole volume of that in. And that I thought was, a compromise between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would point out that you don't have to cold crash it. I think it's enough to just let it cool 10 degrees and the yeast will flocculate.
Right.
So, and then pour the, you'll have a half inch of yeast on the bottom or, depending on the size of the starter, but that mass will be down there. Pour off the wort. Yeah, it's going to be cloudy with yeast. You're going to lose some, but you've got the bulk of it. And I agree with you. Don't really want to add all that starter wort, which is going to have a lot of diacetyl, acetaldehyde, other byproducts, off flavors. Don't really want to put that into your main beer and hope it gets cleaned up.
Yep. There you go. All right. Let's take another short break. When we come back, we will have more of your questions right after this.
Hey there, BN Army. Have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grainfathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at HopTech.com. HopTech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com. Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states, plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Grog tags aren't just for labeling your home brews to hand out to your friends. They're the perfect way to round out your personal brewing marketing. Bringing your latest beer to a funeral? Craft a metal sign to go with it. Heading out to little Liam's bar mitzvah? Grog Tag custom bottle caps are awesome. Couldn't get out of jury duty this year? Grog Tag the hell out of the deliberation room with reusable labels. Grog Tag has an awesome array of products just waiting to be customized by you. Metal signs, coasters, tasting mats, bottle caps, tap handles. It's all there waiting for your designs at Grog Tag. Liven up your next party with the widest selection of custom products ever offered by a sponsor of the Brewing Network. Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
Yes, Steve and I were talking about how lovely it is that I now live in the Vacaville, California. Very close to the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm putting the Pope Estate up for sale.
Do you have a buyer yet?
It is time. Oh, it won't take long. It'll happen amazingly quick. We'll put that thing up and it'll just be gone. Gone, I'm saying. I think I've seen the buyer here from Canada, the billionaire Glop is thinking of buying the Pope Estate.
Oh.
Yes. He smells very much like sunscreen. I'm thinking he gets a little too too burnt without copious amounts of banana boat. Banana boat? Is that what you're using?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we've been floating in all day.
Yes.
We're at the Water World.
Water World. That's why you are covered. I can smell the sunscreen from here. You walked in, I'm like, sunscreen, man.
Well, you've got a good nose.
There you go. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's often that I smell it in beer, so that's why I recognized it right off the bat. I'm like, yeah, sunscreen. That is like descriptor number 37 on the wheel of flavor descriptors.
Was it a good thing?
Well, not in beer. No. Are you having a good time in California?
Yes, we're having a great time. We've been seeing a lot of friends and visiting a lot of new places and seeing incredible scenery across the states.
Scenery, yeah.
Is that
what you said?
Yeah, the desert and more sand and
desert
and
dry fire. Have you seen our topography includes fire?
No, I missed the fires in L.A. I was kind of disappointed there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
come on back. We got more.
There'll be more. Monterey is on fire. Big Sur is completely on fire. That's burning down.
Shit. Well, we have forest fires in Canada, too, so I've seen that before.
You've seen fire before.
You've seen Fort McMurray. They burned half the country down there.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was interesting, yeah.
Okay. All right. Have you been to Heretic? Have you come out to the brewery?
I have not.
You should come out to the brewery.
I think I should.
I'll hook you up. I know a guy. Get you some free beer. I'm just saying. Get you a tour.
Well, you know some very interesting people, don't you?
Yeah, I know you. That's about as interesting as it gets. It's about as unusual and interesting as it gets.
Well, I'll try and get out there. That'd be really fun, and I appreciate the offer, Jim Milton. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to be here and barge into your show and kind of ruin everything. The memento of the movie.
I assume you had a question for us, right?
Because this thing was going so smoothly before you showed up.
Okay. It wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What's the show about? There it goes.
Pretty much that. Yeah.
Was it question and answer?
It is.
Oh.
Yes. All right, so you're going to jump in on the next question here. All right, what's our next question, Pornographic Steven?
All right, this one's from Rod Hall, again. Same dude, talking about when he's making a 5-liter starter on a stir plate with a drop or two of anti-foam, I get almost no visible Krausen. How can I tell when the starter has reached high Krausen?
Well, it's actually a good point because, if you're stirring your starter, really, you even without any sort of anti-foam, you generally don't see any sort of action. I mean, it's knocking the CO2 out as fast as it can form, and you end up with, no real foaming.
Yeah, it's just cloudy.
Right, but you'll see. So the thing is to be observant, and you'll see where it cloud up and get very thick with yeast, and when it reaches kind of a peak thing, and when you see it start to fade from that, then I think you've reached your point of maximum saturation of yeast, and that's pretty much where you would go if you're going to pitch that from high Krausen. You should learn how to say Krausen.
Krausen?
Yes.
Krausen?
Krausen.
I want to say
Krausen.
Looks like a German.
With an umlaut. Yes.
Like kraut.
Oh. Steve. Offended our German listener. There you go. John, would you recommend otherwise?
Nope. I would just add that you don't want to keep your starter on a stir plate for longer than 18 to 24 hours.
Right. All your growth is done.
Yeah.
8 to 12, 18,
max. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, turn off the stir plate at that point, because if you keep it on oxygen, the sugars are all used up, and now the yeast are going to start, using those trehalose and glycogen reserves with the oxygen for metabolism, and basically you're going to tire them right out. So, don't stir a starter too long.
There you go. Blobber, would you have any advice for Rod?
No, but I do have a question later.
All right. What's your question?
I'm just curious to what you guys think about just how much homebrewers should be worried about hot side aeration.
Almost none.
Almost none, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, that was that's the information that I found as well. Because that's it. So, okay, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
JP made you feel
JP made a little laugh and
it's a good question, and it's something that a lot of people think about, and it's been brought up in the literature and all that stuff. But our good friend Charlie Bamforth so aptly pointed out, through great fermentation, you pretty much eliminate any issues with hot side aeration. So the thing is, there are effects to hot side aeration later on in staling and all sorts of things, and formation of compounds that could add to shortening a beer's life if you are packaging it and sending it out into the market to sit warm on shelves. Perhaps you would worry about something like that. However, the thing for homebrewers is, don't start wildly whisking your wort or anything like that, or your mash. Just do it like normal, and everything will work out just fine. Have good fermentation, and don't be insane. Don't come up with some insane method of somehow mixing up your mash or something that's like using a boat propeller and churning it up, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no paint stirrers on the Makita.
There you go. Good question, Flobber.
Thanks.
All right, next question, Steve.
This one's about bottle carbonating. I recently brewed a couple batches of beer at my parents' farm for the first time. Everything went according to plan until I carbonated my beers. I added my standard 2/3 cup of sugar to my beers, which usually gives me fairly good carbonation, and occasionally too much, depending on what style I'm brewing. But when I opened the first bottle, it was relatively flat. I started trying to think of what might have gone wrong, assuming that it wasn't a fluke, and the rest of my beers are well carbonated. My first thought was the fact that my parents' farm is about 1,200 feet higher in elevation. My guess was that at the higher elevation, there would be less residual carbonation in the beer from fermentation, which would require additional sugar for priming. This kind of leads me into another question of whether the priming nomograph, which starts out with temperature, is really just a simplification of residual carbonation, and I would need to adjust my priming sugar based both on temperature and elevation. If this is the case, is there a nomograph that starts with residual carbonation and a table calculating residual carbonation based off of elevation and temperature? I've searched forums but haven't gotten a decent answer.
Damn it.
Well, John, you should be able to calculate the partial pressure at any given elevation and provide a chart for that. Come on.
Yeah.
Knock that out on your flight to Singapore.
I'll do that.
I mean, it's calculatable.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't think it would be huge, though, at 1,200 feet. Or what elevation did you say, 2,000?
Well, actually,
Steve, what elevation did you say?
1,200 feet.
1,200 feet.
1,200 feet higher than his current elevation, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's not enough to really markedly change carbonation.
Well, it does change the solubility of oxygen at...
oxygen isn't going to affect the...
Well, but it is a similar situation. You have dissolved gas.
Right. It's going to affect the partial pressure of gases, which is going to, like the listener is saying, the amount of residual CO2 that's trapped in the beer after fermentation is going to change based on the higher elevation.
Yeah.
But it's going to be lower.
Yeah.
But the amount lower is how much?
2 ppm.
And not a lot, I would think.
No. So, I mean, I'll figure it out.
John will come up with a chart for you.
Yeah.
He's on it.
He's on it. All right. One more question.
All right, this one. Hello, Jamil and John. In your opinions, what is the best hop combination for a tropical pale ale? I've been experimenting with Mosaic and Citra hop combinations, but I cannot seem to get the ratio correct without there being an aroma similar to cat piss. It sure tastes good, though. Are there...
See, JP, why you don't like hoppy beers and cat piss, since you have a love of cats?
I'm trying to find an analogy for this. Look, you can get a good look at a bull by sticking your head up his butt, but it's not going to tell you whatever, Tommy Boy. Okay. That's true.
That's true. Right.
I mean, why are some tropical IPAs catty? Why are some hops catty like that? I don't know.
Right.
I really would. I think you're working with the wrong hops. You know, I think Mosaic sucks. So
I'm with you on that. I hate Mosaic.
Yeah. Citra and Galaxy. Citra.
Oh, people hate Galaxy too.
Yeah.
Hop combinations
Amarillo.
that work well together.
Try some of the New Zealand ones. Waitueka. A couple others.
We just did a 28 hop comparison. We tasted like all the hops that we have at the brewery in the Hellas.
Oh.
And we made little growlers of Hellas and put in like 3 grams of hops in each one, and then we tasted them, and we came up with our next like 3 or 4 hop combinations for IPAs. And the real tropical fruity hops without a lot of cattiness is Vic's Secret was very tropical. Southern Cross, Cashmere is a new hop that is really hard to get. That I think is outstanding.
I always like that song.
Cashmere, yeah.
Or Outstanding.
Outstanding, yeah. Yes. Another great song by Led Zeppelin. Citra can be a nice... Citra, at least the current batch of Citra that we have has a lot of peach character to it. And so that can be nice. It doesn't have a whole lot of catty. Mosaic, I think, is the key problem that he's having. But I think also, it can be... If you use too much Mosaic, that easily can be offensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just using the right amount of Mosaic. When we did the homebrew or the Brewers Challenge or whatever, I used a massive ton of Mosaic in that beer. That was my downfall.
It wasn't the fact you didn't boil the beer at all?
No, it was the Mosaic. That's what people were complaining about, the Mosaic.
I don't think that... Maybe.
Yeah, people were talking about diesel-y, and people refer to Mosaic as diesel-y all the time.
Okay.
It was the Mosaic. But I had other people that just love that beer because it had a lot of Mosaic in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Mosaic. Tale of Two Cities. There you go. All right. Did we answer that question? All right.
Yep.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more questions right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, more beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
We're back. Lovely visit by Blobber, his beautiful family, and the Jipper and his lovely family.
That was cool.
Which consists of 2 people. Blobber's family is like 4.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
He's a frequent visitor to California, as I understand it, at least once a year.
You just call him a freak.
No, freak.
We just say that separately.
He's a freak visitor? Jeez.
Yeah, that's what he said. All right.
Actually, he would endorse that comment.
Next question.
He absolutely would.
Yes.
Okay. Next question is about mash temperature dropping. Hey guys, firstly, I'm from Denmark, Australia, and I listen to you guys at work a lot and would appreciate it.
Australia.
Make up your mind. Denmark
Wait,
or
what?
Australia?
I'm from Denmark, Australia.
Is
that a place?
What kind of accent would that guy have? That's a weird one. All right, continue.
Hello, mate. I don't know.
Hello,
that
mate.
was terrible.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
No, that was actually pretty good.
I couldn't have done any worse. Thank you very much, Porno.
He would appreciate it if Doc would get more drunk on air. Shit is gold. I like that comment. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's every single episode Doc's on.
More drunk. He needs more.
Literally not possible.
He'd be unconscious.
Yeah, I'd be pissed out. All right, question. I use a single pot for my mash and boil, and when I do a mash without having my pot on the heat or with the recirculatory system set up, I get a degree Celsius drop in temperature every 15 minutes. Just wondering what the ill effects of that would be.
Does he say what temperature he's starting at?
Nope.
But, I would say in the grand scheme of things, probably not a big deal. In an hour, you're looking at 8F, 4C, be fine. But why not just throw some insulation around that pot? Make yourself up, a little foam thing that, slaps on there, 2 halves, piece of tape, duct tape to hold it shut, and then take it off when you want to fire the burner. And, and I'm guessing he doesn't have a lid on it. If you're dropping that much, you don't have a lid on it. Just throw a lid on there, and I bet you it
throw a lid, make a little jacket for it, and
that's right.
Call it a day.
I bet you get I'd be shocked if you got 1 degree Fahrenheit drop if you made a jacket and then an insulated lid. If you just put a lid on it, I bet you he would cut that heat loss in half.
He says he gets a degree Celsius drop every 15.
I bet you if he put a lid on it, he'd cut that in half.
A degree Celsius an hour.
Yeah. Or, an hour or every half hour. Yeah. And that could be enough. So, there you go.
Cool.
The one thing, start over again, John. You need to get up starch solubilization temperature. So you got to get above 65 C. I'll say it in C since he's working in C from Australia. Get above 65 C. Get up to, say, 67, and especially if he is experiencing this temperature drop. And then don't worry about it, because once you get up to 65, all of your starches are soluble. They should be. You can have some starch granules that are late to solubilize until they get up to 64, 65. So those should go in solution. And now, as your temperature drops, they stay soluble. And a temperature drop of a couple of degrees only is being kinder to your beta amylase. So you're really not losing anything. You're making a more fermentable wort.
Yep. There you go. All right. Bevo, we have questions from the chat?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Sorry, I started talking.
Southern Belle.
I started talking,
Bevo.
but I had my microphone turned off. Yeah. Okay. This question is from Captain Midway. I used watermelon in a beer and a few spots of white pellicle. Is that a word?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pellicle on top of the beer in the fermenter, which makes me think there was an infection. Can I salvage the fermenter and keg? ?
Sure. Just because you see white floaties, it doesn't necessarily mean it's Brett or something, horrible. It could be, just some mold or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, it depends on the fermenter. If you can heat the fermenter up to, 180 degrees, you're good. Same thing on the keg. It'll kill any Brett that's in there. Spore-forming organisms, no, but it'll be fine.
Okay. Great. My next question is from R.A. Smith. How do you keep from over-sparging or keeping your runoff from dropping too low on very low gravity beers like milds and bitters? During my sparge, I normally get down to 1.010 to 1.008 before I'm at where I want to be for my starting boil level, which is about a gallon off.
Add more grain.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Just start out with more grain. If you're calculating it with one of the calculator tools, sometimes in extreme circumstances, either it'll be wrong on the ends, or not wrong, but it just doesn't work in the real world as to what you're trying to do. So Just add more grain or less water, more water, whatever would be, on the big beer, and on the small beers generally it's just you probably need another pound of grain.
Yeah. I feel his frustration in not, hitting his number, and wanting to avoid astringency, but yeah, add, another half pound of your base malt, such that, when you hit your boil volume, your final run-ins gravity will be, 10, 15, 10, 16 instead. But again, it's not a huge problem if his pH is good. Look at your water chemistry, look at your pH of your runnings. 10-10, for final run-ins is fine as long as your pH is not going up above 5.8. That's where you start to run into some issues.
And there you are.
And there you go.
That sounded nice.
Well, and sounded nice.
Hey,
have you checked out our fine sponsor, Adam and Eve? They got something nice for you. Use the offer code Jamel, Jamil, at adamandeve.com. And when you do, you're going to get 6 free adult DVDs. You're going to get yourself a free gift for her, a free gift for him, and a free gift for the both of you. And one of them's a clit bumper. What if the two of you don't have a clit between you?
That is a good point.
Couple of dudes. Nothing wrong with that. And what would they use a clit bumper for?
But I'm going to go on record and say that I don't know.
They put that on eBay
fact.
Or something?
But
can you exchange it for something else?
She has one right here. Going to pull it out and
taking it out of the box.
Show how it works.
The clit bumper is the ideal pleasure ring for couples.
Uh-huh.
Why am I reading this out loud?
You could have a couple that is two women. You can have a couple that's two men. You can have a couple that is a man and woman. You can have a couple that is people who identify.
It's a ring.
Uh-huh.
So it technically can be used for men. It just the clit stimulating wouldn't work, but the ring part.
Okay.
And I'm quoting from Adam and Eve right here. It says
2 women could use this if they slip that onto a
hand,
a phallic-shaped something or other, or the hand. Oh,
he'll love
Timo.
the way this ring lets him stay harder longer.
Oh, okay, okay. You maybe turn that little bumper around so it's bumping you in the...
Okay, so I'm done. This is a hard passing.
All right.
Hard is right.
Just trying to work it out here. So I guess you could find some use for it. Absolutely, or you sell it on eBay, whatever. So you get the 6 free DVDs, you get the 3 free gifts, and to top it all off, free shipping. And that's where a lot of these deals you hear on the internet and whatever, and TV, late night TV, they get you as the shipping. It's like, oh yeah, it's just $9.99, and then like shipping is $29.99 because it's shipping and handling. Not at Adam and Eve. Use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, and they're going to give you free shipping, 6 free DVDs, and the 3 free gifts. So check out adamandeve.com. Another excellent show.
Wonderful.
Pornographic Steven.
Just wonderful.
Lovely Bevo. We enjoyed our time here in the air-conditioned studio. I will go back out to have sweat drip down my crack and across my taint and down my leg into my shoe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotta wash all the things.
I just envisioned the whole trail of your sweat. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, you did. Ran across my clip bumper, too, didn't it? Well, check out our fine sponsors, Blickman Engineering, BlickmanEngineering.com. Good folks there are innovating your brew day, making frustration-free brewing through all the great products like their Blickman Tower of Power, the Therminator, the Beer Gun, and all the fine Anvil Brewing products. You can check them out also at anvilbrewing.com. Good stuff. Check out the Brewing Network store. At the store, you can find stuff that when you buy that stuff, it goes to the bottom line of the Brewing Network and helps keep shows like this on the air. They got great stuff. They got T-shirts. They got glassware. They got growlers. They got hoodies. They got hats. They got
toothbrushes.
They've got scissors. They've got phones. Cell phones now. They've got calculators. They've got, I think, Bio's steering us wrong. Mouses. They got mouse pads.
You name it.
They got boobs.
They probably got it.
They've got it. I'm going to go check them out today because I think I could pick up a few things I could use there.
You do your grocery shopping there.
All right. Yeah, they've got groceries. Check them out, thebrewingnetwork.com/store. Until then, everybody, brew strong.
Brew strong, everyone.